The women of Brooklyn are 3-0. They are ablaze. What can the men do? They're still looking for their first victory on the year. Welcome back to Wayfair Arena, the Miami Mayhem. Looking to take the sand. That's James Shaw on the right, Kane Schulk on the left, the veteran. As we look at the Brooklyn Blaze, Sean Cook and Brian Miller. Listen, enthusiasm, fire, and excitement, all adjectives you'd use to describe Sean Cook. Now he needs some victories.
Absolutely, yeah. It's good to bring the energy. It's good to be an entertainer and get the crowd involved, but you got to get your work done on the sand as well.
Yeah, they had their chances in week 1 in Palm Beach. Brian Miller hitting that league low 128. A lot of self-inflicted wounds, which is bad news. Good news is, you know it's in your control.
And conceivably, there's only one way to go but up.
Indeed. There is Brian Miller taking the sand. He will match up at 6'8", also at the net. Originally out of Mercer Island, Washington. How about the representation here? Got Sean Cook out of Perth, Scotland. Yeah, you were in Australia. In fact, it's Scotland. You have Mercer Island and Washington. That's Brian Miller. On the other side, you have Kane Schulk out of Red Deer, Alberta. And James Shaw, the only close to traditional beach volleyball home, Woodside, California, which is in central NorCal.
That's right. That's right. We're going all over to find these great athletes. There's a look at Kane Schulk and James Shaw. Yeah, Kane represented Canada in the Olympics in 2016 in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, and he changed over his citizenship. Was actually married in the United States first, has a daughter, Koa, and looked to represent Team USA in 2024. He picked up James Shaw last year. I was excited about this partnership last season. I'm happy to see it in the league here in 25.
Yeah, I mean, he's so long on experience. James Shaw, relatively new to the beach after playing indoor for a long time. But he is a big man with a lot of talents. Particularly his service is going to be something to watch in this match, Kevin.
Yeah, James Shaw, an indoor career overseas, several seasons in Italy at setter, multiple years at opposite in Italy, France, and Germany. A little bit of wear and tear. He's always kind of looking at the beach. Ankle issue, kind of got that resolved and was excited to come out and ply his trade now at 31 years old on the beach side. He's on the far side, dark hat. His partner has the blue tape on his right shoulder, Kane Schulk. That's what happens when you're 39. You need a little extra tape. Maybe some paper clips to hold everything together. Sean Cook will get us started. Short serve, first to Schulk. And James Shaw will take the option. Excellent first dig by Cook. And Kane Schulk has read that book before. Long rally to begin. Schulk right side. Is good. First point goes to Miami.
I think if you're Sean Cook and the Brooklyn Blaze, you have to stay aggressive. Sean is by far at his best when he's kind of swinging away. He's using his jumping ability, going after balls. If he starts shooting the ball around, I think Kane's going to eat him for lunch.
All right, Brooklyn has suffered losses to Palm Beach as well as San Diego in that week 1. As that ball is long, and Brooklyn's opponents hit 492 during that weekend. That is the highest allowed by any men's or women's team. So keep an eye on what the Mayhem are able to do offensively here. Option not really there. Shaw pushes it outside for Schulk, and it's pushed over. Was that April Ross out
there? For international fans, Laura Ludwig is who we generally give the credit to for that over on one play. Well done from Shaw. Already his 3rd good defensive contact for a guy who touts himself as an anti-defense club guy.
Yeah, Sean Cook, nice work. Can he get a 3rd? No, he does not. Let's check in with Cameron Irwin, courtside.
Yeah, guys, I got a chance to catch up with the Miami Mayhem before this, and one of the focuses for them is to be steady. They said this is their first ever league match, both of them being rookies, even though Kane Schulk is an Olympian. This is a whole different environment. They also talked about these efficient sets, just to 15 points, and said they have to pay attention to the high energy on the other side of the net and try and get this hometown crowd on their side. Guys?
Hometown crowd indeed here. Good serving, too. Could be a part of getting them excited. Shaw has that one trickled just down his face. It's called a waterfall ball.
The waterfall ball, yeah. That's a good sort of reminder, though, of the advantage when you stay aggressive. Gets that ball to kind of squeak through. If the block isn't perfectly formed, you can find those little windows sometimes. With good fortune, too.
Sean Cook back to serve. His father, Ian, played libero for the Scottish national team. Played indoors for 10 years before coming over to the beach side. Tough serve there. A lot of firepower on both sides. Another nice dig by Cook. Early defensive chops from him. Does he have another? No. Good night now from James Shaw.
Yeah, a guy who you mentioned played not only setter, but opposite overseas. You know that guy can terminate some volleyballs, as you see here. Have a look. Oh, that one went right through the uprights, too. Just Yahtzee up the middle. I wonder what plaid the national team kilts are.
That's
for the
a great
Scottish
question.
team.
We'll have to go to the internet. Miller with an attack of his own. And that was kind of the story in week 1 for Miller. He'd have some opportunities and chunk the ball. Just was one of those times where you're out of rhythm attacking-wise. They're looking good. The big man out of Mercer, Washington. Went to Washington State. Played his first AVP in 2016 alongside David Miller. Tough serve here. Beautiful set. That would be high. Was it in the hands? It looked like there was a touch, but nothing called. And you can't have video review.
Yeah, hard to challenge that call. No touch detected. It didn't really seem like it altered the flight of the ball. That ball clearly long, as you can see on the replay there.
It was close. Miller will stay at the line. Scoop up. Miller, nice touch. He'll set it and that'll get called. And Kong blocked. A little extra intimidation.
That was impressive all the way around. I like the attempt. I mean, that's something we're seeing more and more in the game, too. People be really comfortable hand setting the ball. Free balls, kind of things that we never saw before. That first touch and then backing up and trying to hand set it. An interesting attempt from Miller.
Shaw gets mid on it again, but not a second time. Good reaction by Sean Cook, checking in at 6'3". Originally went to the University of Bath.
Yeah, oddly, as Cameron highlighted for us there, he's the only one that's played in the league prior to this season. Played with Cody Caldwell for the Brooklyn Blaze last year. New partner this year, and both of the members of the Mayhem. Wow.
And now you're going to have some serious complaining. Yeah, I thought for sure that was going to get called. In fact, everyone on the sand did.
Yeah, everyone in the Wayfair Arena and some of their family members at home even thought that was no good.
Let them know how you feel. That might be good in the backyard with your brother's cane, but not here. Dad put in a sand court up there in Red Deer. Came crediting that with all the success he had first in college. That would be like JUCO in Canada, and then in university. On two, Miller asserting himself here in this second weekend opportunity for the Blaze.
Had a good response after the controversial no call from the Blaze. Again, if Sean and Brian can remain aggressive, nice look at it. Great camera work by our crew. Just Miller elevating those head and shoulders over the net.
Miller grew up playing a couple sand courts just down the way from his house in his neighborhood. Also weekends at Alakai Beach. Famous beach there in the Seattle area. His dad, Jeff, picked up volleyball a little bit late in life. Shaw right down the line, and that ball cannot be handled. A little slice around the side for the former setter at Stanford University.
Yeah, good stroke from Shaw. Cook was in pretty good position, but that extra little pace, James Shaw gets him the winner.
Serving deep, driving Miller high up off the platform, and that's an ace. So 7-7, looking for the side change next are the Mayhem. They won 4 straight matches to dominate qualifier number 2 and secure this league position that they are now debuting here in week 3. Schulk again. This time to the other side of Miller, who'll go to the right. Check down and put it away. One side switch in AVP league play in each set, and it's taken when 1 point is scored to go to 8. It is the Brooklyn Blaze here first. Cook and Miller only slightly in control of our first in a best-of-3 men's match. Welcome back to Miami for match number 2, our men's match between the Miami Mayhem and the Brooklyn Blaze. Told you earlier about the marriage between Molly Shaw and James Shaw, and many marriages create blended families. I want you to meet Jasper. This is Molly Shaw's cat and travel companion. That's a good-looking fellow right there. And also meet Buckwheat, James Shaw's dog. Here they look to be getting along, but they got off to kind of a rough start when they first met. Upon cohabitation, Jasper started peeing on Bucky's bed. Ooh. Bucky's response was, fine, I'll pee right back on the bed and get rid of that smell. Bucky, that's not how that works, man. Then your bed is just in bad shape. That is not how it goes, but they seem to have sorted that out. Everyone's happily together, so the blended family has become one.
I like that, Kevin. Rough start. Well done.
A close start here to our second match, as Cameron Irwin out there waves on the Blaze. She's got Blaze colors on tonight. The blue and red of the Brooklyn Blaze still looking for their first victory now in their second week of action. They've looked good so far, a lot more polished in their second opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think that aggression is really benefiting them. A lot of good defensive touches, and then sort of the proactive offensive mindset of Brian Miller working in favor of the Blaze.
Sean Cook to serve. He'll go jumper. Crack it down the middle. Good strategic serve. Roll shot. He's there again. More good defense from Cook. Got it on the offense too. Scoring.
Yeah, got a little lackadaisical with that first contact where Miller puts up a good set. Sean Cook takes a healthy cut high off the hands of James Shaw at the net.
So Cook, another naturalized U.S. citizen, hoping to compete for Team USA. Put another one on Shaw. Oh, Shaw lights it up.
Yeah, there should be very little other than that type of thing in the offensive game of James Shaw until it gets stopped.
Height, power, and range would have anybody swinging quite a bit.
You would think. You would think. There's something about the beach game that makes everyone want to show off their bag of tricks when it comes to shots.
Miller's going to go right side here. And enough trickery to put it down in front of Cam Schulk.
Yeah, nice little 60% shot cross court. Gets it to land in front of Schulk, who was in pretty good position.
Cam Schulk on the far side in the light hat. Coming out of Trinity Western University years ago. That is a storied program. Oh, Shaw with the beautiful set from well off the net. Deliveries like he had where he was the nation's best setter his senior year at Stanford. They're hitting .889 are Cook and Miller as they look to side out. Carrying that 1-point lead. Cook, I don't think he saw much there of the block. Just made a good choice.
Especially in those types of circumstances where your vision is impaired a little bit because the set's coming from back in the court. Just swing away. Use your physicality.
Good contact. That ball is too tight and Miller takes advantage.
Yeah, really nice job staying disciplined at the net, Brian Miller.
It's a very different Brooklyn Blaze team than we saw. They won a single set in that first weekend, but they were very much in the match against San Diego. Had a ton of errors and still won a set. The first set was deuce. It very easily could have gone their way. Is that ball in or out? It is out. Sean Cook lets it know that it did not touch the line. 13-9, timeout called by Miami.
Hard to decipher sometimes what the banshee screams amount to from Sean Cook, whether they're positive or negative.
Well, it's done in a brogue. And we have Kame Schulk out there, so let's talk about his kind of football, shall we? Tomorrow, head out to the gridiron and catch a Canadian Football League showdown. The reigning Grey Cup champions, the Toronto Argonauts, hosting the Calgary Stampeders. That's a classic 4 Eastern right here on CBS Sports Network. Watch any kind of football, any kind of sport. Love that the summer gets spanned now with all kinds of other sports. Beautiful opportunity to catch AVP League play throughout your entire summer. This is just week 3 of what will be 8 regular season matchups before we head to Chicago for the championships. 3 titles to be awarded there: a men's, a women's, and the AVP League Cup.
Kame's got to be an Argonauts guy, right?
You would think so. I don't know, Alberta? Toronto's far away. But the Argonauts have been good for a long time. So the question, fair weather or regional? We'll talk to Kame. We'll find out. For now, he's focused on volleyball. Need a comeback, and that'll help. That ball just long from Cook.
You really don't want to waste that, do you?
I don't know that they're going to get their appeal. Cook's going to get his jokes in, though.
Yeah. They ramp up increasingly when you have a 3-point lead late in set 1.
A service. That'll get him a good start, and a little clap over. Some back and forth developing perhaps here.
Yeah, if I am Miami, though, I would advise against engagement with Sean Cook. That's not the game of Kame and James, right? That's one of the reasons Sean Cook kind of does what he does, is to try and get you to engage with that and hopefully be less engaged in your game of volleyball on your side of the net.
All right, timeout Brooklyn, hoping to disengage the serve of James Shaw. Maybe we'll take a break and go to the sidelines. Yeah, clear shades or no shades is the choice at our indoor events here. Rich, what do you think? Clear or nothing? What is the better choice, and why perhaps are those choices made?
My guess as to why they're made is you get so accustomed to playing outdoors and therefore playing with sunglasses on that you're sort of used to feeling that on your face. So it can be, you know, just something different if you have nothing there, and different feels awkward sometimes to all of us superstitious athletes. And so I would guess that's why the clear lenses, you know, there aren't any really elements, no wind, nothing that you particularly need the sunglasses for, even the clear ones. And so I would guess it's just kind of a continuity thing.
All right, looking for a little continuity here at the end of the set. They need to manufacture a couple of points. James Shaw still back at the line.
The postscript is, if you're Taylor Crabb and you're an Oakley sponsored athlete, you do whatever they say.
There you go. Miller. They continue their toward offensive pace. Offensively now, over 900 for the Blaze. 14-11 on the scoreboard. Set point. Schulk lays that one down softly.
And I think if you're Sean Cook, those are balls that you've got to tell yourself you can be getting. He missed another one a little bit earlier. He's played some great defense, so I'm nitpicking here. But those are sets where Kame has very few options.
Set point, number 2. Bad pass. Opportunity Mayhem. Schulk, does he go back to the same spot? No, it's to the line, but it's a winner again. They are within 1.
You got to, as a defender, you've got to kind of read each individual situation. You don't want to get caught chasing the last play, so to speak, right? Then you end up playing whack-a-mole defense.
4-1 run, but they need a 5th here. 3rd, set point.
Oh, my goodness.
Trouble. Schulk again for 3 in a row. Got it. We're tied.
And there you see it a little bit. You know, Cook selling out to go to the line there. James Shaw just easily finding the sand, but you got to start with a calm, relaxed service reception here.
Mayhem fought off 3 set point opportunities. Finally, a side out for Brooklyn. 15-14. They will serve a set point.
Remains to be seen who's going to win this first set, Kev. But if you're the Brooklyn Blaze, you are kind of kicking yourself with not tough serves from Kame Schalk that you kind of let get away from you.
How much does Cook go for it here? Toss, spin, crush. Nearly had it. Shaw aggressive, and he finds it. Both teams unwilling to shoot.
That was a fantastic serve from Sean Cook, putting the Mayhem in all kinds of trouble. But that sort of trouble set and that swing from James Shaw got them out of trouble.
Hyper located onto the nylon. Shaw back where he picked up an ace last time. Just got there his partner with the dig. Better opportunity. Kame to score. Another. And they lead by 1. Set point for the Mayhem for the first time, and the whole home crowd rejoices.
Yeah, just some good intestinal fortitude from the Mayhem, sticking in, making some plays late, getting some freebies as well from the Blaze and some shaky service reception, and now James with a chance to close.
For the set. Miller, right side. Got it. The ad belongs to Miami, meaning that if they continue to side out, they will continue to lead by 1 and have set point opportunities. Can they hold it? Option not taken. Cook committed to the line again and got it. And put it away.
Goodness. That was a phenomenal defensive play from Sean Cook. Great set from Miller, and that swing is what Sean Cook needs to do 100% of the time, in my opinion.
Looking like he drank a big bottle of courage for this first set. 5th set point opportunity for Cook and Miller. Miller at the line. They're still working on Shaw. Got another. It doesn't touch the ceiling. And it doesn't stay in bounds.
Such a tough break for the Blaze. Kind of the will it, won't it, hit the signage above the court. I think threw Miller off just enough to make that set kind of jump off of his arms a little tight.
High short serve, looking to get back on the ad. That's going to be called off his thumbs.
I mean, that's the correct call for sure. It's tough in that circumstance, but it's extra tough because one was let go earlier that was terrible from Kame Schalk as well.
7th set point, just the second for the Mayhem. They have fought off 5. Looking to take the set right now. Maybe a steal. Not this time.
Chest music. I like what Miller's doing offensively. They look a little tentative in their service reception on the side of the Blaze here late in set 1.
Cook went for it last time. Does he go again? Yes. Shaw steps in on reception. He's way off the net, swinging anyway. 3rd set point opportunity for the Mayhem.
Good adjustment from Shaw on that service reception. Not easy when the ball clips the tape like that. It tends to change directions.
A monster overtime first set. Does it come to a conclusion? Shaw switches positions, serves it up. Rolls it in front of Miller. He'll stay on the left. And cuff it. 19 apiece.
And a little lingering look at Shaw after he put that ball away.
There has been a little chatter. And some chowder, actually, here in the first set. We've had both.
There's been a couple bowls of chowder.
Yeah.
It's making me hungry, Kevin.
19 up. Remember, no cap on these sets to 15, win by 2. Oh, the advantage taken. No net violation seen, Kame Schalk. As our highest scoring men's set of the year goes to another set point, number 6 for the Blaze. Miller to block. Cook with the dig. Not hittable. He shoots it to a good spot, puts the Mayhem in trouble, and it's out of bounds. The Blaze have held on. They took Jim J. Bullock to block, 21-19. Our highest scoring set of the season has us going 2 now.
The Brooklyn Blaze take set 1. Now, you may have heard of visual learners, but what about visual planners? Yeah, this is this morning as I stepped aside to get a cup of coffee. This is Brian and Sean Cook with an ingenious solution to game planning. They were utilizing, get this, stir sticks as the volleyball. The spoon was a net. The coffee cup, who knows what it was. But in the midst of that first set, which they won, Sean even looked over to me and said, yeah, that's exactly right. That's coffee cup, moves over the right side and covers the line. So an ingenious way to pick up some game planning, and important for these two as they do live 2 hours away from one another. So practice becomes a little challenging. You got to get creative, fellas.
Indeed. It used to be the bottle cap or the piece of glass when you were playing football in the street. Now, who's the big mug? Is that some sort of commentary on musculature?
I don't know.
Is James Shaw the straw? I don't know.
I just know that Sean Cook was not wanting for air intake with the nose strip.
Have to be able to breathe it full all times. James Shaw gets a big block. You would have wanted to have one of those in set 1.
Absolutely, and I'm interested to see how that affects Sean Cook's approach. Hopefully it doesn't have him pull off the gas a little bit just because James Shaw got him once.
How about twice? Not yet. A little soft action followed all the way out of bounds, and Brooklyn is down 2-0.
Got to be careful not to try and push things too much here if you're Brooklyn. James Shaw serving the ball tough. Kind of see if you can't relax into your service receive game and get back to what you did so well set number 1, which their offensive numbers were insane, Kevin.
Shaw's gotten in some rhythm. That ball's going to have to go over, and indeed it does. Scooped over by Shaw. Schulk to the net. Can't quite get there. That's a mismatch. Say it's a mismatch. Schulk is 6'5", but that happens when you guy across the net is 6'8". Both sides serving tough. Slicing for the point there.
I mean, that's another great serve from Cook, but just a beautiful pass from James Shaw. Laying that platform out there nicely.
Short serve. They're working short to Miller quite a bit. Making the big man move.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's not really paying dividends. Miller is in quite a groove offensively, hitting north of 800, I think. But still a good strategy to make the big fella have to move a little bit. Don't let him get too comfortable.
Serving that middle. This time it's Schulk. That ball is going to be called. Yeah. They may not like it, but it's been called tight this entire match, save one from Cam Schulk.
Yeah, by the standard that's been set, it's okay. You know, it's interesting because kind of currently the setting standards are loosening a bit, and James was square to his target there and kind of quick with it, but still a questionable contact.
Miller goes jumper. Working Schulk deep. Shaw will take a swing, but Miller's right there. Battle of the bigs, won by number one.
And there's still a little extra through the net after that block. Let's see if we get a look at it. Great read. Yeah, a little bit of a lingering before he turns around to celebrate with his partner.
Option again. This time thrown outside and put away in the corner.
That was quite a good set from James Shaw, because body position-wise, he was not in great position to make that set as well as he did.
So that'll send Shaw to the line once again. Will he go after Miller? He's been hitting a lot of cross court. Middle to cross. This time it's down the line and right on the line.
Catches it.
Maybe he set that up with all those other swings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kind of untouchable. Yeah, I think they're going to pretend to challenge that, but I don't think you can challenge a ball that clicks the tape like that.
Yeah, when the line jumps, as they say, you know it was hit. You don't have to worry about a ball mark. The line moved.
And no doubt Sean Cook not applauding if he thought that was long.
So Cook's gone a little bit of variety from the line himself. He's been hitting it hard as of late, down the seam, right between these two men. To the right of Shaw, to the left of Schulk. Does he vary it up? No. Little quick pace and a line shot. They really changed tempo there.
Yeah. And they do that quite a bit, run kind of some different tempo, a little bit of shoot set out to the right side pin for Cam Shaw. Cam's such a good receiver of serve. It gives them a lot of offensive options.
That ball will be shot successfully on two by Cook. The Brooklyn Blaze finished 9th place in Huntington. Thought they were kind of dead for qualification into the league. They had to sweat it out, and the results played out. Their previous two performances and points got them into league play throughout this summer. On the other side for the Mayhem, they qualified. And in fact, we talked about Molly and James. Well, James qualified 2 weeks before Molly. And he said, man, I have never been so nervous as I was watching Molly and Kelly try to get in when you have no control of what's happening.
Huntington was wild. If you have any kind of anxiety or an elevated heart rate, probably wasn't great for you in a lot of ways. Look at that serve.
Passed over. Schulk will clean it up. You mentioned James Shaw's serving right off the top and how it would be a factor. It is in this second set. 8-6. Mayhem looking to extend our match number 2. Sunday at 2 Eastern, join CBS Sports Network on the hardwood for a WNBA Eastern Conference clash as the Atlanta Dream take on the Washington Mystics. Right now, the Miami Mayhem are taking on the Brooklyn Blaze. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn with Cameron Irwin down Sandside here in Wayfair Arena, where the fans are enjoying a night of top shelf volleyball action. Our women's match went 3 is the similar fate awaiting the men here as the Mayhem try and rally in the second off of our highest scoring set of any of our 3 weekends of play here on AVP League 25. 21-19 victory for the Blaze.
Yeah, James Shaw's found a little bit of rhythm with his serve here in set number 2 for the Mayhem. So potential trouble for the Blaze.
Yeah, I'd like to find a little bit more as that one comes off the tape. That was a difficult play in reception for Kame Schulk.
Yeah, great identification early by Kame. He was crashing in for the short one, saw that it was going to kiss off the top of the tape, and kind of stopped his forward momentum. Beautifully done.
A little reverse knuckle from Cook. That ball is super tight to the net. Now
he loves to look for opportunities to kind of showcase the unusual, and that was a good opportunity to do it.
Let's go Mayhem!
Mark Sherman trying to get things started here for the Mayhem. They remain up 1, 9-8. Teams trading side outs. Option given, taken, and score.
Yeah, we didn't see a whole lot of that in set number 1 from the Mayhem. I like them kind of looking to push that option play here in set number 2. Came such good control in his service reception. It behooves them to kind of throw that up there to the big guy.
Miller, 13 kills, no errors on 16. That's the first error he'll be credited with as he gets stuffed by Shaw. James Shaw's second stuff block.
Really nice move from Shaw. Again, Miller's been fantastic, particularly because he's staying so aggressive.
Shaw back to the line again. Puts a little wrap on it. Big trouble for the Blaze here. Dumped off the heel of the hand by James Shaw. A little power and control in one rally.
Absolutely, that serve was a cracker.
Blaze call their only timeout of the set now at 12-8. It took a little while, but James Shaw is kind of taking over this set with his service game.
Well, it's not surprising how, you know, kind of success in one area can bleed into other areas, right? They've started finding some rhythm from the service line. That's led to a little bit more of the option play in their offensive game, and now things just rolling in all areas for the Miami Mayhem.
Brian Miller having returned to those excellent offensive numbers here in the second week. You know that the engineer who works full-time at a biotech firm came up with an algorithm and some analysis for that 128% that he hit in week 1 in Palm Beach. He has certainly remedied that here in match number 1. He's been an offensive juggernaut. Yeah, that one error coming via the block of James Shaw on the last play. An impactful performance for Brian Miller in his second appearance in AVP League. Shaw. Up at the net. High, and is it in or is it out? It is just wide. Fortunate break for the Mayhem there. They were not on it.
We are rapidly heading towards a third set.
Yeah, is it live or is it Memorex? Overtime in the first and dominant by the team that lost the first in the second. And it continues another ace from Shaw. He is lighting him up. Set point for the Mayhem.
Between Hollywood Squares and Memorex commercial references, we'll be here all weekend for your contemporary.
What year is it, kids? 14-8.
Oh, that's
And
going to
again.
fall.
Fourth ace of this match as James Shaw and the Mayhem headed with all the momentum and service advantage into the third and decisive set. Hey, let's play 6 on CBS Sports Network.
AVP League on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Wilson, the official ball of the AVP, and by StubHub.
Our second match on a Friday night is going to be a lot like the first match. It is also going to go 3 sets, and the statistics tell you the story. Their hitting percentage, Rich Lamborn playing a huge role.
Absolutely, yeah. Cook and Miller were all but untouchable in set number 1. Schalk and Shaw weren't terrible at 360, but upping that to north of 760 in set number 2.
All right, we get underway here in set number 3 with another tough serve from James Shaw and a side out from Miller. And that has been 2 opposing forces right there. 4 aces for Shaw, massive effect on the match, and an incredible offensive performance by Brian Miller on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be which one of those things kind of rises to the top here in the 3rd set, you would think, as to who's going to come out on top.
Roll shot goes short on Shaw. A charging Cook nearly had it. Now here are the wild parallels. So the women's side, the Blaze won 18-16 in the first set. We had 4 set points, right? Mayhem win 15-8 in the second. Then the Blaze come back, win 15-10, change their float strategy, their serving strategy in the third, and were successful here. As you look at Miller try and get another kill, he instead finds Schulk, who finds a winner. In this match, first set 21-19, highest scoring set of the year on the men's side, and it featured 9 set points. Second set, it was won by the Blaze. Second set, 15-8 Mayhem. So the Blaze win this 15-10, I assume. We can just call it now?
Just pencil it in?
Yeah. If Miller keeps hitting the way he has, the odds are good. Little double axe handle here from Cook, who will get a swing. And a kill.
Nice job again, staying aggressive, Sean Cook. Still a long way to go. This seems like it's going to be a little bit more back and forth than we saw in the 15-10 conclusion of the female incarnation of this match.
That one slapped right at Miller. He gets just enough of it and puts it away. No, it's kicked up. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. That is tremendous awareness from the Blaze to stay engaged today.
Well, put that as a potential play of the year. Nominee scramble right off the left shin of Shaw.
And I'm not sure what happened there. It kind of came up gimpy and now being attended to. John King and Miller and Cook concerned as well. Hopefully this is nothing serious.
Yeah, Kane kind of stuffed his knee in the sand there in a compressed motion. That is not a good position for anyone's knee.
Yeah, had to sort of retreat awkwardly and fell maybe a little bit strangely. Yeah, shaking that left leg out. See if we get another look.
One more time.
Yeah, just wild how when you kind of land even slightly incorrectly, that momentum can kind of wreak havoc.
Looks like Kane is kind of shaking it off and ready to side out. Do you serve him and test it right now?
Absolutely.
Instead, they find Shaw, who rips it. All right, this is week 3. We're in Wayfair Arena in Miami. We have another night of play coming for you tomorrow night. And next week will find us in the Hamptons. Aces, Dream, Blaze, Nitro all in action there before we head back to Los Angeles and Intuit Dome for week 5. Catch us coast to coast here. James Shaw, another tough serve. And did he get a touch there? Yes, indeed. Cook with another kill.
It's great work, not only by Cook to kind of keep that bomb of a serve off the sand, but Miller surrounding that ball, getting kind of squared up to his target, putting up a hittable bump set. Nice work by the Blaze.
All right, with more on the service from the Miami side, let's check in with Cameron Irwin.
He said they're actually donating $10 for every ace. And guys, get this, they make even charity competitive. The girls had 5 aces, the guys sitting at 4 currently. So $90 to the Ronald McDonald House of South Florida. So watch for those aces.
Oh, fantastic, giving back. AVP lead. Outstanding. Well, let's see some more though. Miller with a 1-point advantage. They're liking Shaw here in this third set. And Shaw is enjoying feasting.
Yeah, it's interesting that, you know, it'll be curious to see if the Brooklyn Blaze switch that strategy up, because James Shaw has shown 0 signs of slowing offensively.
14 kills on 19 attempts, hitting .632. That is second only to the .867 of Miller, who gets this one. And he's shut down for just the second time.
That's a little bit of a different sort of setup, because it's ultimately a perfect pass, perfect set situation, but Miller had to climb out of the sand after diving. That interrupts your rhythm, and then, you know, against the big block of James Shaw, you're a little bit compromised. James Shaw wins that one.
And James had him pinned all the way to that outside pin on the left side. This time Cook, he'll get pushed to the pin and lose a joust, but the ball stays alive. Another tight one. Touched. This will have to be hit. Shaw, awkward position. Scoops it, and a double touch will be called. He had it both on the block and then down to himself. Not in a single motion.
Yeah, if you're the Brooklyn Blaze right here, you've got to capitalize. That's a little bit of a good break for you. The Miami Mayhem, good chance to score there, and you've got to really kind of take advantage of those opportunities when they come.
See if they can build on it here.
Yeah, personally, I like Sean Cook being aggressive with his serve there rather than just kind of floating an easy one. It came too good, too much control. And I mean, that is easy pickings right there for big James Shaw.
James Shaw hitting that one by one of his former partners. Spent time playing with Sean Cook. 2 or 3 tournaments together years ago. As that one is chipped over and finds the line.
Oh, that
What a
does find
reaction.
the sideline. I think Brian Miller is going to put the challenge call up.
I've got that one in just from here.
Yeah, we can see the ball mark from our vantage point. Here's the aerial view.
Yeah, our crew on it.
Yeah, it happened 8 inches away from our line judge at not a very fast pace, so very, very unlikely that they missed that.
First 2-point margin in the set, 8-6, has us to the side change. Little 4-1 run. Schulk at the line. Shaw waiting to try and pick up yet another block. He's been impactful defensively at the net in this set. He's got another, but it's out of bounds.
Yeah, there again, not to be a broken record about the aggression level, but Sean Cook taking a healthy, high, hard cut at that ball just yields good results.
Way to continue the 80s references. No one knows what well, nostalgia people do. More good defense from Cook. That was the story early in set 1, but he didn't convert this one.
Yeah, not a situation where he could really take a big swing because he didn't have much approach. The set's a little bit low. Brian just had to pull it out of the net. But yeah, that ball has to be in the court. You got to, at the very least, force your opponents to make a play.
Looked like a good choice, poor execution type moment.
Sure.
That lets Brooklyn off the hook. A little sigh of relief. They stay within 1. Four aces against just 3 errors for James Shaw. That is good return on investment. No aces yet for Cook. Doesn't get one here. Schulk in the middle. Nicely done. Back to the outside.
Yeah, but it's a good choice from the end line. Swing away for Sean Cook. Cam's going to make that pass more often than he's not. That shouldn't diminish your approach to the service game if you're the Brooklyn Blaze.
Miller once again. Pass back up, back to the net, and another kill.
So interesting, right? Because you talked about their offensive numbers, Miller's in particular, in week number 1. It's hard to imagine that as well as he's playing here, right? He's showing tremendous range out there.
Yeah, hitting just under 600. His partner laying out for this one. Got the right hand, trying to chip it long. That'll have to be hit. Shaw v. Miller again. Look at the center hands and the put away. Why no block?
I'm not sure what happened there with the block. Cook's going to have a little discussion, but I don't know what the problem was. That's a bad spot to have a little bit of a mental lapse. I think the set in transition to Cook was a little bit low. He didn't quite get the windup he needs, but that was a big missed opportunity if you're the Blaze.
Mayhem +2. All right, let's see how aggressive Cook is. You mentioned he went float earlier. You didn't like it. He went back to being aggressive last time.
And I liked it.
Okay.
And I think he's going to do it again, and I like it.
Long.
Yeah, he misses. It's the right choice. However, they have no other choice but to kind of go after it from the service line, try and put some pressure on the Mayhem, who have just been siding out at will.
Little room for error remains for Brooklyn as we close down to the end of this third set and the match. Right to Shulk. And he converts. That was the recipe in set one when they fought on 4 consecutive set points. It was Kim Shulk defense to conversion. And now it'll be a timeout. Brooklyn celebration on the Miami side for the moment. They are +3 with maybe 2 to go.
I got a request. I said I'd find one more ball. Somebody really wanted this guy.
Yeah, it's a bad time to let off the accelerator if you're the Brooklyn Blaze.
That's not going to be good for me.
Blaze at 13-10. If they win the next 2 points, it'll be the exact same score in the last 2 sets as it was on the women's side. And the exact same result or the opposite result, pardon me, with the Mayhem taking the victory. Mentioned where we're going to be: East Hampton, New York, Los Angeles, back to New York City again, coast to coast, before we go south for a little bit. Austin and Dallas, 2 great Texas cities, before we finish up the traditional pilgrimage to Chicago, the Hajj to Chicago, August 30th and 31st. As we have done, concluding AVP summer, we'll have our league championships there on Oak Street Beach.
Michigan Avenue, a lot more convenient than Mecca.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
Shulk and Shaw carrying that hitting advantage and a 3-point lead. Tough pass for Miller, and the ball hit out. Match ball number 1 for the Mayhem.
Yeah, you have to credit the consistent and relentless nature of the Miami Mayhem, but again, it's a little bit of a self-inflicted situation for Brooklyn Blaze, making some errors.
Shortness.
Your feet for match point, Mayhem. And the slow back.
14-11, a commanding advantage, although not insurmountable. We saw the Mayhem come back and tie it in the first. Can the Blaze do the same, or do the Mayhem carry the day? For the match, Shaw. A second time, push to the outside. Chops it wide.
Nothing is insurmountable if you believe, Kevin.
The women of the Brooklyn Blaze holding their breath. They already put up a victory. Miami Mayhem hoping for a 1-1 on the evening. Third chance to close it. Shaw sets his partner, pace, and got it. That'll do.
The hometown team victorious, and it was a nice adjustment that they made after that close set number 1. They really dialed it in from the service line offensively. They were next to untouchable, hitting phenomenal numbers offensively. And that was an excellent match for both teams. But Miami Mayhem just more consistent overall throughout.
The Blaze, their most complete performance to date, but they still fall to 0-3, losing to the Miami Mayhem, who make their debut on the men's side with a victory. League stop number 3 as we head in to another night of play tomorrow. For Cameron Irwin, Rich Lamborn, and our entire crew, I'm Kevin Barnett. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.